Welcome back, Focus learners, to another explainer. So, whether you've been tracking planetary dashas for years or maybe you're just starting to sync up your calendar with the cosmos, the transit we're looking at today, it is absolutely legendary. We're looking ahead to a massive astrological event arriving in the year 2026. And look, this isn't your standard run-of-the-mill planetary movement. It's widely considered a harbinger of major generational shifts, bringing this incredible wave of cosmic energy that absolutely demands our attention. 12 years. That is exactly how long we have had to wait for this specific, highly anticipated cosmic placement, literally a full dozen years. This is not some annual occurrence that just gently breezes by, right? Because it takes Jupiter over a decade to complete its journey through the zodiac. Its return to this ultra-powerful placement marks the closing of a long, and let's be real, often challenging chapter, and the definitive opening of a brand new one. And honestly, this is exactly why the astrological community is already buzzing about it well in advance. Okay, let's dive into this. What exactly are we waiting for here? We're talking about the exaltation of Jupiter, which is known as Guru in Vedic astrology, as it moves into the sign of Cancer. Now, for those of you who study the charts, you know this is considered one of Jupiter's absolute strongest placements. But why? Well, it's like the perfect cosmic recipe. Jupiter represents boundless expansion, abundance, and higher learning. Cancer, on the other hand, is a water sign representing deep emotional security, nurturing, and intuition. So when you drop the planet of expansion into the sign of profound nurturing, you get massive potential for growth in three key areas: wisdom, wealth, and truly profound healing. We've got a lot of ground to cover today. Here's our roadmap. We'll start with the once-in-a-decade event, move into healing, home, and heart, then explore wealth, wisdom, and work. After that, we'll dive into cosmic prosperity and water signs and wrap it all up with an important reality check. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the once-in-a-decade event, also known as our cosmic setup. Go ahead and mark your calendars for June 2nd, 2026. That's the exact date Jupiter officially enters Cancer. And as we established, this cycle only repeats once every 12 years. But here's the thing. The energetic shift is something you're likely going to feel building up long before that June date even hits. As the transit approaches, the collective energy often begins to pivot away from the rapid, sometimes super chaotic fire and air energies of previous years, settling down into a much more foundational, rooted vibration. That really sets the stage for the years to follow. Moving right along to section 2, healing, home, and heart. This is where we focus entirely on the shifts predicted for your inner world. Now, what's really interesting about this is the overwhelming focus on the domestic sphere. We're talking about a major shift away from that exhausting outward hustle culture, moving toward a really deep desire for inward nesting. Because Cancer inherently rules nurturing, emotional security, and our foundational roots, the expansive nature of Jupiter just magnifies those themes intensely. So expect a strong, undeniable push toward buying or renovating property. People are going to want their sanctuaries. We also see a profound drive to reconnect with family roots, maybe uncovering ancestry or finally mending some long-broken bridges. In relationships, this transit strongly favors secure foundations, meaning you can absolutely expect stronger marriage commitments, engagements, or even reconciliations. And because Jupiter is traditionally deeply linked with lineage and creation, expanding families, fertility, and really joyful developments involving children are heavily featured here. It is literally the ultimate cosmic nesting period. But it's not just about the physical home, it is absolutely about the emotional one too. A really profound prediction here is that old emotional wounds may finally find genuine resolution. And we're not just talking about surface-level self-care here. We are talking about the heavy inner work, whether that's diving into shadow work, exploring ancestral healing, or finally unpacking that generational trauma. Astrologers view this 2026 transit as an incredibly powerful period for inner healing, leading to a noticeable, permanent increase in overall emotional intelligence. If you've been doing the grueling psychological work over the past decade, this exalted transit might just be the massive catalyst for that emotional breakthrough you've been waiting for. Okay, let's pivot from the intensely personal over to the professional in section 3, wealth, wisdom, and work, exploring how this energy translates to the outer world. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how things are changing. When it comes to career growth, success during this transit isn't born from ruthless aggression or cutting down the competition. You can go ahead and just leave those sharp elbows behind in 2025. Instead, true professional expansion flourishes through wisdom, teaching, consulting, empathetic leadership, and building deeply trusted relationships. The whole paradigm completely flips. It's a fundamental shift in how we achieve our professional goals, moving entirely away from toxic, cutthroat workplace culture and stepping into shared expertise and mutual community-based elevation. So, what does your current financial strategy look like? Because right now, wealth creation improves specifically through undeniable stability. Fast money, get-rich-quick schemes, they're out. The exalted Jupiter strongly favors the slow, steady, and responsible builder. There are 3 very clear, practical steps to harness this energy. First, prioritize long-term building and compounding savings. Second, make financially responsible property decisions, which, ties right back to that desire for a secure home base we talked about. And third, deliberately avoid relying on speculative, volatile gains. If you try to gamble with this energy, it almost always backfires. The wealth generated under Jupiter in Cancer is meant to last generations, and that requires patience and a rock-solid foundation. And going hand in hand with that professional and financial growth is tremendous educational growth. Jupiter inherently governs knowledge, but not just mundane, everyday facts. It governs higher learning, grand philosophical concepts, and systemic wisdom. This means that students, teachers, researchers, and lifelong learners are going to find flourishing opportunities. If you've been contemplating picking up a complex new skill, diving into some deep academic research, or maybe finally returning to school to master a subject, this transit opens some massive doors for profound intellectual development. Your capacity to absorb and synthesize really big ideas is going to be at an absolute peak. Which brings us to Section 4, Cosmic Prosperity and Water Signs. Let's look at the mystical side of things and see exactly who stands to win big. You can definitely expect a sudden deepened draw toward spiritual growth around this time. The focus shifts dramatically toward practices that feed the soul rather than just the ego. This includes a massive surge in meditation, engaging seriously with religious studies, embarking on a transformative pilgrimage, seeking out profound mentorship, or honestly, simply engaging in deeper philosophical inquiry, like, what is our purpose? Why are we actually here? People are going to be actively looking for deeper meaning and searching for the underlying truths of existence, rather than just relentlessly chasing material success. Now, within this broader 2026 transit, there's a very specific, crucial astrological window you absolutely need to know about. It's called the Pushya Nakshatra. Vedic astrologers note that when Jupiter moves through this specific lunar mansion in Cancer, it acts as a phenomenal peak period. To understand why, you kind of have to look at the symbolism. Pushya is often represented by the cow's udder, which in ancient traditions symbolizes ultimate unconditional nourishment, giving, and total abundance. When the planet of expansion travels through the star of ultimate nourishment, it creates a remarkably strong prosperity window. Those core themes we discussed, massive family growth, intense emotional healing, and significant career expansion, they all become incredibly prominent and intensely activated during this exact window. But who exactly stands to benefit the most from all this cosmic abundance? Well, if you have a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces ascendant, or if those happen to be your moon signs, you are expected to experience the most direct, palpable benefits. And the reason comes down to basic elemental astrology. Jupiter's expansive, boundless energy resonates absolutely perfectly with the inherent, emotionally driven, and intuitive themes of the water signs. While fire signs might find this energy a little bit too slow, and air signs might find it a bit too emotional, water signs are just perfectly structured to absorb, integrate, and seamlessly flow with this massive wave of healing and wealth. All right, before we all start planning our 2026 victory laps and banking on inevitable, effortless success, we need to slow down and move to Section 5, the important reality check. Let's ground these cosmic claims for a second. Exaltation alone does not guarantee dramatic life changes for everyone. This is an absolutely vital point to keep an objective perspective. While this transit is generally considered highly favorable and full of potential, astrology is an incredibly complex, multi-layered system. Sweeping generalizations just don't apply to every single individual equally. A planetary exaltation provides the weather, sure, but you still have to sail the ship. So, the crucial point is that your actual results depend entirely on your unique blueprint. There are crucial factors that determine exactly how this plays out for you. The specifics of your exact birth chart, your current planetary periods or dashas, the specific house placement where Jupiter actually lands in your personal chart, and of course, the overall strength and dignity of your other planets. You absolutely have to look at the whole intricate picture rather than just relying on the promise of one exalted planet to do all the heavy lifting.
The potential for incredible growth in wisdom, wealth, and profound healing officially arrives on June 2nd, 2026. The cosmic setup is totally guaranteed. But how it actually plays out? Well, that is written in your unique stars. Will your personal chart unlock Jupiter's 2026 prosperity? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Focused learners, keep exploring, keep structuring that knowledge, and I'll see you next time.